With inventory as low as it is in parts of the country, especially like here in the Northeast, my market, which is northern New Jersey, clients are sometimes just like throwing their hands up in the air and saying, "Oy, why don't I just find a piece of land and build my dream house?" And while I love that enthusiasm, I just want to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into when you go this route. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking to you about location. I need to assume that you know where you want to be and that you've done your research. My bigger concern, and the concern of this video, is can you build on it? Hey, it's Nancy from Nancy Chu Homes, and today we're going to talk about the 6 factors that you should consider before buying a piece of land to build your dream home. Now, stay to the end because I promise you I have one very important factor that a lot of people don't think about before they buy the land, and it could just totally derail all of your plans, okay? So before we get started, please pause the video, scroll down to the comments below, and tell me if you've ever built a new construction home for you and your family. All right, welcome back. Let's jump right in. Factor number 1, how is the soil condition of the land? So soil testing is an absolute must, as not only do you need it for your building permit, but you also want to figure out whether the land can properly support a foundation, right? And at the same time, they'll also check for potential pollutants. Bad soil can cost you more money because you may end up having to dig a deeper, more stable foundation. And if the land is also really rocky, then you may also have to move a lot of stone to dig. All of this which could really affect the cost of construction in the long run. Factor number 2, are there utilities nearby, or do you have to run utilities to the house? Now, sometimes in order to do that, you may even have to build roads to your property. And, as excited as you might be by the idea of privacy and peace and rolling acreage with no neighbors in sight, okay, well, be aware that that can increase your build cost, especially if you also need not just to build the road, but also you have to drill for a well for water and add a septic system, all of which means a lot of further testing for the suitability of the land for both. Factor number 3, before you buy land, you really need to run a title search on the property to see if there's any hidden issues, right? Like, what if the current owner owes money for back taxes and there's been a lien placed on the land? Well, guess what? That's going to have to be taken care of before you close the deal, because you don't want to be stuck with that. Factor number 4. Now, just like with the lien, the title search might also find any possible easements on the property. Those are things that allow someone else the right to use your land. So like, for instance, if a neighbor needs to go through your property to get to theirs, you want to know that before you buy. Factor number 5. Now, make sure that you find out if there's any restrictions on the land. Like sometimes, for instance, a homeowners association, they may have rules about the size, the look, the exterior features of the home you want to build. They may have rules about what you can do. So make sure you're okay with those rules before you buy, if there's anything like an HOA, for instance. And factor number 6, zoning. It's the big one. You want to build a 2-family house, but this land is only zoned for residential single family. All right, well then you have to go to the town to see if you can get a variance, costing you time and money and with no guarantee that it'll get approved. And what are the setbacks? How back from the property lines do you have to build? So I once saw this piece of land and it had a 60-foot piece of frontage. Okay, so that's how wide it was. And the town had 20-foot setbacks from each edge, which really only left you a 20-foot wide piece to build on, which I guess is okay if you want to build a really long, narrow house, but you should know this before you buy. Look, new construction is awesome because it allows you to build exactly what you want, which is amazing. But at the same time, you have to be careful because there's a lot of moving parts to juggle, right? The testing, the permitting, experts you have to hire, and then finding the right builder, and then managing the project. And if you go this route, you got to make sure you've got the right people to help you along the way. It's a big undertaking. And in my neck of the woods in New Jersey, new construction is running about $350 a square foot. So let's say I buy a cute little half acre of land in an adorable town, I have to pay $750,000 for this piece of land. And then I want to build a 3,200 square foot house on it. Okay, that ballparks retail about $1.1 million for the build, and then I add the cost of the land at $750,000. All right, I'm already at $1.8 million. Something to think about, right? Okay, so now I promised you one very important factor that people don't always consider when looking at land. Now, did you know that some towns or municipalities have rules about what percentage of the lot is allowed to be built on or developed? So if a town only allows you to develop, say, 35% of the lot, and let's say you find a really cute 1/5 of an acre lot, and you're thinking, I would like to build a nice big ranch style home because it's me, my husband, my family, and my in-laws are going to be with us, so I'd really like it to be one level. Okay, great. But guess what? With the 35% development rule, your house cannot be bigger than 3,050 square feet. Now, and that might be enough for sure, right? You might be like, that's fine, that's perfect. But I definitely want to know that before I ink my final deal on the land. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. And please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can continue to help others in reaching out to people regarding their real estate wealth building needs. And if you're looking for a real estate pro in your area, just pop into the description, fill out the form so I can hook you up with the best in the country. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.